The night is thick with tension, the kind that hums beneath the surface like a live wire. Somewhere in the shadows, a deal is being made. A figure cloaked in cunning and manipulation leans in close, his voice a low, persuasive murmur. He spins, a tale of vulnerability, painting you as an easy target, a mark ripe for the taking. He feeds them false intel. Your weaknesses, your patterns, your supposed limitations. The opposition listens intently, their eyes gleaming with greed and ambition. They buy it all, hook, line and sinker. They think they've got the upper hand. They think they've got you figured out. They couldn't be more wrong. Meanwhile, you're elsewhere, far removed from their scheming. You're introduced in a moment of calm, a figure of quiet power and unshakable confidence. You're a chosen one. Immortal, divine, and utterly unbothered. The plan to take you down is already doomed, but the one who set it in motion doesn't know it yet. He's playing a dangerous game, and you're about to remind him why you're the one who always wins. Drop a comment. I am divinely protected if you know no weapon formed against you shall prosper. The ambush comes swiftly, a storm of noise and motion as the opposition descends on your location. They're armed to the teeth, their faces masked, their movements sharp and coordinated. They've trained for this moment, rehearsed every detail, and convinced themselves that victory is inevitable. They surround you, their weapons drawn, their confidence radiating like heat from a flame. But you don't move, you don't flinch, you don't even blink. You're not surprised, in fact, you're almost amused. You let them think they have the upper hand, playing along with their theatrics like a parent humoring a child. They shout orders, their voices sharp and commanding, but you don't hear the words. You're too busy smirking, too busy setting your drink down on a nearby surface with deliberate calm. They think they've caught you off guard. They think this will be easy, but they're about to learn just how wrong they are. Every glance, every whispered plot, every carefully orchestrated scheme was crafted under the illusion that they were in control. They moved with the arrogance of those who believed they had mastered the game, weaving lies and illusions around you like a web they were certain you could not escape. But power built on deceit is as fleeting as the morning mist, illusory, fragile, and destined to dissolve under the weight of undeniable truth. What they failed to realize is that their so-called dominance was nothing more than a borrowed fantasy, a fleeting dream planted in their minds by forces far beyond their comprehension. They were never in control. They were puppets dancing to the tune of a greater darkness that used them as mere instruments of destruction. And now, faced with your unshakable presence, they begin to see the cracks in their illusion, the strings they never noticed pulling them in directions they thought were of their own choosing. The weight of reality presses down on them as they come face to face with a force that does not bend, does not falter, and certainly does not cower in the face of mere mortals. Their carefully constructed plans unravel before their eyes. Their so-called power reduced to nothing more than empty gestures in the presence of something eternal. They believed their weapons, their lies and their manipulations would carve through your defenses with ease, but they were wrong. Each step forward reveals a greater truth. There is no weakness in divine purpose, no cracks to exploit in a foundation, built by forces beyond human understanding. What they thought would be an easy conquest has turned into an insurmountable challenge, and they now stand at the precipice of their own undoing. As their illusions shatter, you stand unwavering, rooted in a truth they can neither touch nor comprehend. Their attacks were never aimed at your physical form alone. They sought to break your spirit, to fracture your faith, to make you doubt the power that resides within you. But with every assault they hurl, they only expose their own limitations. Their weapons fall uselessly at your feet, their words lose their venom, and their carefully crafted narratives crumble in the face of your unwavering certainty. You are not swayed by their games, not weakened by their deceit. Instead, you rise above it all, untouched and unshaken, while they are left drowning in the wreckage of their own delusions. From the shadows, the devil watches the chaos unfold, his initial smugness slowly giving way to unease. At first, he observes with a twisted satisfaction, convinced his plan is working perfectly. But as the fight drags on, his confidence begins to waver. The opposition's attacks grow more desperate, their movements more frantic, and their fear more palpable. It dawns on him. He left out a crucial detail about you, a detail that changes everything. His expression shifts from arrogance to dread as he realizes the gravity of his mistake. You catch a glimpse of him in the shadows, his face pale and his eyes wide with growing panic. Your lips curl into a knowing smirk, your gaze locking onto his for a brief, chilling moment. "You forgot to tell them the part about me being immortal, huh?" you say, your voice calm but laced with quiet amusement. The words hang in the air like a death sentence, and this bravado shatters. The opposition is in full panic mode now. Their carefully laid plans have crumbled, their confidence replaced by sheer terror. They try to retreat, to regroup, but it's too late. You're not just immortal, you're relentless. They scramble, their movements chaotic and uncoordinated, but there's no escape. You move through them like a force of nature, your every action deliberate and precise. You take them down one by one, not out of malice, but because they brought this on themselves. Each move you make is calculated, effortless, and dripping with an unshakable confidence that leaves no room for doubt. You're not just winning, you're dominating, and they know it. The air is thick with the weight of their defeat, their fear, and their regret. But you don't stop. You can't. This is who you are, and they're just beginning to understand what that means. Realizing his plan has backfired spectacularly, the devil tries to slip away unnoticed. He moves quickly, his footsteps light and his breathing shallow, hoping to disappear into the night before you notice. But you're not about to let him off that easy. You catch up to him effortlessly, your presence blocking his path like an immovable wall. He freezes, his eyes wide with fear, his mind racing for a way out. You stand before him calm and composed, your expression almost bored. "Leaving so soon?" you ask, your voice low and steady. "We were just getting started." The words are simple, but they carry a weight that makes the devil's knees buckle. He knows he's trapped. He knows there's no escape. And he knows he's made a mistake he'll never live down. The devil tries to talk his way out of it, his voice trembling as he spins lies and excuses. He pleads, he bargains, he even tries to flatter you, but you're not buying it. You've seen this act before, and it's as transparent as glass. You let him ramble, your expression unchanging, your patience wearing thin. Finally, you cut him off with a single, pointed look. You remind him who he's dealing with. Maybe it's a flick of your wrist, a subtle shift in the air, or a faint glow in your eyes. Whatever it is, it's enough to make him regret ever crossing you. The power you unleash is just a fraction of what you're capable of, but it's more than enough to drive the point home. "Next time," you say, your voice calm but firm, "do your homework." The words are final, a warning and a promise, all at once. And as you walk away, the devil is left broken, defeated, and utterly humiliated. The Obsidian inner order is forged for those who relentlessly pursue immortal greatness. This is a sacred group of titans who understand that mastery leaves an eternal mark. Every week, our warriors gather for profound strategy sessions that pierce the veil of mediocrity. No surface-level content, no spiritual bypass, just ancestral wisdom merged with modern domination from those who've conquered their domains. With over 450 chosen members, these weekly calls deliver the sacred blueprints needed to claim your sovereign throne. Every transmission is preserved in our sanctified vault, accessible to those who understand that wisdom reveals itself when the student is ready. This isn't about temporary motivation, it's about awakening your dormant power. Our private Discord has become the inner sanctum where genuine kings connect in ways that reshape reality. Here, legacies are forged, destinies are aligned, and brotherhood transcends the shallow connections of the masses. When members of the Order unite, the universe conspires to make way. Stop watching from the sidelines. Your seat at the table of Titans awaits. The link is in the description below. The devil is a master strategist, a meticulous manipulator who moves his pawns with an eerie precision that only the blind fail to see. He understands the boundaries set against him, knows that he cannot touch you directly, so instead he weaves his influence through the weak-minded, the envious, and the fearful. Your enemies were easy targets, susceptible to the devil's whispers, because they were already aligned with lower vibrations. They lacked the spiritual insight to see the invisible strings guiding their actions. Blinded by their own egos and insecurities, they mistook his voice for their own thoughts, his intentions for their desires. Pride made them deaf to the warnings that surrounded them. Signs, gut feelings, moments of hesitation that should have made them stop and question their path. But they ignored every divine signal, every subtle reminder that they were being led astray. Instead, they leaned deeper into their misguided quest, convinced they were in control, when in reality they were playing a game whose rules they never truly understood. And yet, despite their efforts, despite their relentless pursuit of destruction, they failed to realize one fundamental truth. You did nothing to deserve their attacks. You stood in your purpose, focused on your path, never once provoking the storm that came crashing down around you. Free will is a gift, a double-edged sword that grants every soul the power to choose between light and darkness. The devil never forces his hand. He doesn't need to. He understands human nature far too well, their desires, their fears, their insatiable hunger for power and validation. He merely presents the opportunity, the temptation, and waits patiently as they step willingly into his grasp. Each individual who turned against you had a choice, a moment where they could have resisted the pull of jealousy, pride, and insecurity. But instead, they embraced it, not because they were unaware of the consequences, but because the darkness within them was already whispering long before the devil even arrived. His presence simply amplified what was already inside, revealing the truth of their hearts. God always provides a way out, a warning before destruction, a sign before the fall. But pride blinds them, and envy makes them deaf. The signs were there, subtle nudges, divine whispers urging them to step back before it was too late. Perhaps it came as a sudden feeling of unease, a warning dream, or the kind advice of someone wiser, but they ignored it all, choosing instead to feed their resentment and justify their actions. The devil didn't force them. They willingly silenced their better judgment, believing they could outmaneuver divine will. Their downfall was not a matter of chance, but a direct consequence of ignoring the very warnings designed to protect them from themselves. Alignment is everything in the spiritual realm. Those who walk in darkness are naturally drawn to it, resonating with energies that mirror their own internal state. And so, when they launched their attacks against you, they were already spiritually compromised, already lost in a cycle of bitterness and deceit. Their alignment with negativity made them easy targets, weak-minded, easily manipulated, and devoid of the discernment required to see through the devil's schemes. They couldn't see the trap they were walking into because they were already entangled in it long before they set their sights on you. They moved forward blindly, believing themselves to be invincible, never realizing they were being set up for their own downfall. Their failure to resist temptation has now become their greatest regret. The devil offered them fleeting power, a false sense of control that left them feeling emboldened and unstoppable. But now, as the consequences unfold, they see the truth with horrifying clarity. Every action they took in darkness is being dragged into the light, and they are left exposed, vulnerable, and crumbling under the weight of their own choices. They thought they were untouchable, but they failed to understand one simple law. What you put into the world will always return to you, whether in blessings or destruction. And now they must reap the harvest of the seeds they so recklessly sowed. In the end, their downfall was inevitable. It wasn't your strength alone that undid them. It was their own inability to resist the devil's whispers. The same force that once emboldened them now abandons them in their hour of need. Their choices have led them to a place where regret cannot undo what has been done, and realization comes too late to change their fate. And as they stumble in the ruins of their own making, you stand firm, divinely protected, untouched by the chaos they brought upon themselves. Because no matter how many lies the devil tells, one truth remains unshaken. Darkness can never overcome the light. Karma is a force as ancient as time itself, an unyielding, inescapable law that governs the balance of the universe. For every action, there is a consequence. For every betrayal, a reckoning. Those who dared to rise against you believed they could outrun the inevitable, that their deeds would remain buried beneath layers of deceit and manipulation. But the universe forgets nothing, and the weight of their actions now circles back to them like a predator that has been lurking in the tomb shadows all along. Divine retribution is not always swift, but it is always certain. They sowed seeds of destruction, and now the harvest has arrived. No matter how they plead, no matter how they attempt to rewrite the narrative, the balance must be restored. And just as darkness leaves its mark, so too does divine justice reveal itself in the most unexpected of ways. Signs and symbols appear, quiet yet undeniable confirmations that karma is at work. Some might call them coincidences, but those with eyes to see know better. The appearance of certain symbols, like the penguin, a creature of resilience and endurance, reminds you that justice moves in divine timing. It's a whisper from the universe, a subtle nod that assures you their actions have been noted, and the scales are being balanced. These signs serve as beacons of affirmation, proof that you are on the right path, and that those who wronged you cannot escape the consequences of their choices. The universe has set events into motion, and nothing can stop what is coming. But karma is not just punishment, it is a lesson. Every debt that must be paid serves a greater purpose, an opportunity for growth, for redemption, for self-realization. Those who attacked you will soon face a choice: to continue down the path of destruction or to confront the darkness within themselves. Some will resist, clinging to their pride and refusing to acknowledge their mistakes. Others will crumble beneath the weight of their guilt, realizing too late that the power they once wielded was never truly theirs to begin with. They will come to understand that harming a chosen one carries a heavy price, one that cannot be bargained with or delayed. Your role in this is not to seek revenge, but to watch and understand. The same hands that sought to tear you down will tremble as they realize the gravity of what they have done. They will see you standing tall, untouched by their attempts to destroy you, and it will burn them from within. Their own downfall will serve as a testament to the divine protection that surrounds you, a reminder that no force of darkness can touch those who walk in alignment with the divine. It will humble them whether they admit it or not, and their regret will be their heaviest burden to bear. And as their world unravels, you will continue to rise. The trials they put you through have only strengthened your spirit, sharpened your resolve, and fortified your purpose. you were never alone, never unprotected. The universe saw every tear, every struggle, every silent moment of doubt, and now it answers with the justice that was always promised. So stand firm and let karma do its work. You are divinely protected, and no weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. Your power does not lie in revenge or retaliation. It is found in your unwavering faith, in your ability to remain steadfast despite the storms that rage around you. Those who sought to break you have only succeeded in revealing the depths of your resilience, and while they crumble under the weight of their own misdeeds, you stand tall, untouched by their chaos. The greatest lesson they will ever learn is watching you rise without ever lowering yourself to their level. Your strength is found in your ability to stay grounded in your purpose, to walk forward with confidence, knowing that divine forces are aligning in your favor. The darkness they tried to pull you into has no claim over you. Your light cannot be dimmed, your purpose cannot be derailed, and your destiny cannot be stolen. Rising above their attacks means refusing to engage in their negativity. It means understanding that their attempts to provoke you are nothing more than desperate cries for validation from a force they will never truly control. You do not need to prove your strength to those who doubted you. Your very existence is proof enough. Every time you choose peace over conflict, faith over fear, and purpose over distraction, you reaffirm the power that flows through you. They sought to distract you, to make you question yourself, but instead they have only reinforced your clarity. Your vision is sharper now, your path clearer, and your heart more certain than ever before. Moving forward is not about forgetting what has happened. It is about transforming it into fuel for your continued ascent. Let their attacks serve as reminders of your unshakable foundation, proof that you have been tested and have emerged stronger. With each step, you leave behind the remnants of their influence, shedding the weight they tried to place on your shoulders. You are no longer burdened by their opinions, their judgments, or their deceit. Instead, you walk in the fullness of your power, unbothered and unstoppable. This experience has only reinforced what was already true. You were born for this. You were chosen for a purpose that cannot be undone by the schemes of mere mortals. And now, with your head held high and your heart unshaken, you move forward with strength, knowing that no force, seen or unseen, can stand in the way of what is divinely ordained for you. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them regret. You are walking in your divine path, and nothing can stop you now. Victory was always yours, written in the stars, long before they ever plotted against you. No amount of deception, no level of manipulation, and no force of darkness could ever rewrite the destiny that has been divinely ordained for you. Every attack they launched, every scheme they crafted, was nothing more than a futile attempt to alter what was never in their power to change. And now, as they watch you rise beyond their reach, they are left with nothing but the bitter taste of failure and the undeniable truth that you were always protected. No matter how close they thought they came, they never had a chance. The divine shield around you was never penetrable, and their efforts only served to reveal their own weaknesses, not yours. Their regret will become their heaviest burden. Long after you have moved forward, they will remain haunted by the realization that they were mere pawns in a game they never truly understood. The devil, who once whispered promises of control into their ears, has long since abandoned them, leaving them to grapple with the fallout of their own choices. They will watch from the sidelines as you continue to thrive, their attempts to undermine you fading into distant memories. And with every step you take, every victory you claim, they will be reminded that they fought against something far greater than themselves, something they could never hope to destroy. Your resilience, your unwavering faith, and your undeniable strength will echo in their minds, a constant reminder of the battle they never should have waged. But you, chosen one, you are no longer concerned with their regrets or their realizations. You walk in victory, untouched by their past actions, fully aligned with your divine purpose. What once seemed like obstacles are now stepping stones, pushing you higher and further than you ever imagined. You do not dwell on their failures because your focus is on the future, a future that holds promises of abundance, success, and peace beyond measure. The weight they tried to place on your shoulders has been lifted, and in its place stands a newfound clarity, an unstoppable momentum that propels you forward. Your heart remains unshaken, your purpose unwavering, and your spirit untouchable. Let them wonder, let them watch, let them regret. None of it can stop what has already been set in motion. You were chosen for something far greater than their schemes, and no amount of opposition could ever alter that truth. Divine protection surrounds you, guiding you, elevating you beyond their reach. And as you walk boldly into your destiny, there is one thing you can be certain of. No weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. The battle was never yours to fight. It was always in divine hands, and that, in the end, is the greatest victory of all.